Hello. So, wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is, welcome to LinkedLadies Loose and Live. I'm Melinda Ward, and thank you for joining the show. Working from home is now a reality for many of us. This can bring feelings of disconnection from that sort of team spirit and support that you get in a traditional office space. So, you might be missing those chats in the office kitchen, hearing about everybody's weekend, sharing your adventures. Or maybe you just feel a bit stuck and you could do with a bit of brainstorming to help solve a problem. Or maybe something absolutely fabulous happened over the weekend and you really want to share it with somebody, but the cat's a bit bored. So also we have space and desire to thank people and show gratitude throughout the show. So if anybody has done you a solid over the weekend and you would like to, or the week actually, and you'd like to say thanks, we can give shout outs as well. So whatever you need, we are here for you. The LinkedLadies are your working from home team, and we want to help. So say hi in the comments, tell us where you're joining from, and share what you've been up to this weekend. And later on today, we're also going to dig into that age-old tradition of goal setting and the association with New Year's resolutions. Do they work? Is there a better way? Spoiler alert, there is.
I hope so.
We'll be asking for your thoughts and experiences on that shortly. We'll also be covering some things that you can do to maximize your success at that goal setting, so stay tuned. But first, let me introduce the team. We have Sarah Farmer, who is a terrific executive coach, and Vanessa Ashworth, who is our business marketing guru. As I said before, I'm Melinda Ward, and I specialize in business consulting and business strategy. We haven't quite got our direction straight.
So I'm confused. Am I narrowed again?
Early entries in the comments yet for people who are with us today?
Nobody's saying hello yet. Everyone's holding back. Don't be shy. Come and say hello.
Well, we'll give them a few minutes to get their fingers warmed up and get that keyboard going. And so tell me, Vanessa, what adventures did you have this weekend? You always seem to have good outdoorsy stuff going on.
We were indoors, and that was good because the weather was horrific this weekend. But it was my son's 10th birthday, double digits. How did that happen? So on his birthday, he was doing an overnight camp, but indoors in the Scouts hut. So that was his kind of half party. And then on Saturday, we went to a climbing wall centre. And I made the mistake of letting his dad have the adult ticket, or made the mistake of not buying more adult tickets because his dad was in there in the thick of it doing all the climbing. And me and stepmom were up in the cafe eating cake and drinking coffee, which was nice, but we kind of felt like we missed out a bit, really. But
I don't think you made a mistake. That sounds brilliant.
Yes. So that was good fun. And then then dad and stepmom got to escape whilst the kids came back to mine to wreck the place and have pizza. They were supposed to be kind of watching movies, but kids, they had their own ideas. And of course, because they're 10 or 9 and 10, they've not learned empathy yet. So they all want to do their own thing and they can't agree on anything, but they're too old to have kind of organized games. But in the end, I kind of sat them all down and I kind of got them all entertained doing kind of silly quizzes. So it worked out in the end, but only after the house was wrecked.
Oh, dear. God. That's an adventure. How about you, Sarah?
I got it's not very exciting, sorry, but I got my booster jab on Friday and went out for dinner on Friday night, which was lovely. And then at 10 o'clock in that evening, my brain just went into a very strange place. Felt pretty rough on Saturday, so didn't do anything at all. Felt fine yesterday, went to the gym. Watched the Formula One final. Don't start me. I think I just about got over it, but I am a Hamilton fan, so I don't know if this is going to cause a row or not. But he was robbed, and I was so cross at what had happened. Verstappen did do a good job, but I was so cross that I had to go to the gym, which was good because then I got exercise. And then today I just feel a bit woohoo again. So I don't know if that's just me because it's coming up to Christmas or whether it's that, but yeah, so not the most exciting of weekends, but you know, it was pleasant, shall we say? Definitely pleasant.
Absolutely.
What about you? What did you up to?
Well, I was actually at the last minute gifted a pair of tickets to the Cosmic Shambles variety show in London from a friend of mine. And what this is, it's hosted by Robin Ince, and it's basically a nerd fest. And there's music and authors, and they were talking about neuroscience and brain chemicals and mathematics, and there were pyrotechnics demonstrations, and yeah, it was really just
That's awesome.
That does sound really
it
good.
was incredibly awesome. Except it had to end early because there was a small technical glitch on the pyrotechnics where one of the performers accidentally let go of a mylar balloon that was filled with hydrogen. And of course, it floated up to the ceiling and was kind of bouncing around by the spotlights. And seeing as that was highly flammable because it was part of a pyro exhibition, yeah, they kind of decided to call the show a bit early and send us all out half hour early so that they could wrangle this balloon from 4 stories up in the vaulted ceiling.
Ooh, it sounds great fun. I want to see if I can get tickets to that purely because you said neuroscience, so I'm in.
Yeah, so I will say, and I'm normally the person without the props, but they were selling in the intervals a lot of the people who are affiliated with the show, which is, by the way, all for charity. So all proceeds are going to homeless shelters, and you can bring food to donate to food kitchens. And there are still some tickets available for Cosmic Shambles if you go on their website for Friday and Saturday of next week, or this coming up week. And I got this cool book, which is reversed, which is called Overloaded: How Every Aspect of Your Life is Influenced by Your Brain Chemicals.
Ooh.
And that's by Ginny Smith.
I'd agree. Yes.
So this is going to be my holiday reading over Christmas and New Year's. And I thought, yeah, it sounds really interesting, actually. And so
we're so matchy. Look at that. Yeah.
So if any of you have any top tips or recommendations for holiday books, they don't have to be as geeky as mine, but please let us know, because we're always up for really good recommendations.
Yeah.
And whether they're business books or kind of more humorous or adventure-y type books.
Cool.
All books are good books.
We've got some people come in to say hello to you, but can I also just ask if anybody's got anything good that they read, any magazines that they'd recommend that we should look at? Because I'm always looking for new things to get into. And also, I was just approached by somebody from Brains magazine, BRAINZ, and just wondered if anyone had heard about it or what they thought. We don't know whether it's just a hard sell to get people writing in their magazine or whether it's worth to follow. But how come Sarah Farmer's the only one not reversed? Oh, we'll come to that in a minute. Probably because I'm dead clever. Good afternoon, Ashley.
I don't think I'm too reversed. My stuff is where my stuff is usually.
Yeah, it's all backwards. But sorry, Vanessa.
No, sorry. I just have to apologise because the dog is barking because somebody is obviously very clever, and I've got a big note on the garage door that says no deliveries, no interruptions, very important call between sometimes, and some idiot is knocking. Sorry. Anyway, good afternoon, Ashley.
Does not follow directions.
And what else? So a few people are in the comments. So yeah, they're all 10, so they will cause mayhem. That was in relation to my 10-year-old's birthday party. And what else is here written? Did they drink my gin? I don't have any gin. I'm 150 plus days into no drinking. So you'd have to hunt to find alcohol in this house, which is much different from how the house used to be. Who else have we got? Heather. Hello, Heather.
Hey,
Heather says she saw Pantoland on Friday. Shall I mute? Do you want to read this?
Mute. I'll do this. You just go silent. Go and quieten the dog. Heather saw Pantoland on Friday night. Good old fashioned fun with Donny Osmond.
How cool is that?
And also when the boys were little, we used to do swimming pool parties at the local. Yeah, we've done that. We're always there, always in there on the inflatables. Yeah, I never went in. The last one my daughter did, I sat very much on the outside. I don't do public pools. Ooh, Veruca's, yeah.
Human soup, yay.
But yeah, thank you, Heather. Nice to know you're there. Oh, I don't know if you can pick up some, because I haven't got the control. But in reference to my Hamilton conversation, Ashley, yes, he was robbed. He said it's ridiculous that Lewis had 11 seconds on him and then he won. I know. It's I can't quite get over it. Anyway, yeah, well, we're going to have to. And Ashley's waving like a nerd. I do this all the time. Hello. But it's nice to feel the connection, isn't it? So how come I'm the only one not reversed? Well, actually, just before we came on, Ashley, I did reverse myself completely. And then I've obviously done something which means I'm no longer mirrored or I don't know what's happening. It's a miracle that we're actually here, to be honest.
For some reason, I can't, the comments are not scrolling up for me. So I'm still trying to.
Well, Vanessa's back. So she's
done something weird to the screen though, have we? Oh, look. Somebody's clicked on the chat, so it's here in the stream.
Well, I can see it all, and I should be able to. But Pam Case is in. Hello, Pam. Oh, Pam. And Joanne Kennedy Reardon. That's sport for you. I know. Somebody's got to win. It was exciting. It was a very exciting year. I've never been into F1 before until my son introduced me to it. Thanks to COVID, we started watching something on. It's kind of the behind the scenes on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called. Drive to Survive. That was it. And I got totally hooked by everything. And now I am a complete and utter avid fan. I did scream at the telly a lot yesterday and the week before.
Anyway, that sounds serious.
It was serious, very serious. I took it all very seriously. What are we up to now then, Melinda?
So I was wondering, now that we've gone through our week, so what are we looking forward to in the coming week? So let us know in the comments as well if you've got any exciting stuff coming up in the next week. Hopefully people still have some social activities, panto, gatherings starting to tick off or kick off rather, not tick off. That would be.
I think we're talking about something else taking off. We don't do that today. Let's not talk.
Well, I was still dwelling on the whole F1 result thing. Sorry.
Okay.
So Vanessa, do you have anything coming up this week that you're looking forward to now that you've survived the birthday weekend?
Not really. It's just getting more work done and getting things out of the door and kind of winding down for Christmas, I think. But I just wanted to shout out actually something wonderful that happened last week, because you were talking about events and I know that a lot of events and parties and things are being cancelled at the moment. And I just want to shout out to 2i Testing, who are one of my clients at the minute, who I'm working with. And they're such an awesome bunch of people. And just to show how awesome they are, when they cancelled their Christmas party to do the right thing and to be responsible, rather than let everything go to waste, they searched high and low for a charity, a homeless charity that would help them repatriate the food, get it boxed up and get it distributed to homeless people or to families who were having financial difficulty. So well done.
Yes, yay.
If you're gonna
and if anybody's,
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, if anybody's in a similar predicament with an event that they've organized, I know for London, but I think it's also in major cities throughout the UK. There's a group called Second Harvest who do that, where they go around to restaurants and things and places that stock food and shops and so forth, and gather things like bakeries and so forth, gather food and then redistribute to homeless shelters, soup kitchens, that sort of thing.
That's really.
If anybody else knows of any charities that way, it's just that just happens to be one that I've worked with in the past. I'm sure there's many more worthy ones. So if anybody has any that they'd like to let us know about, tell us in the chat.
Yeah, all very, very worthy. Can I tell you what I'm doing quickly? Because I'm actually
absolutely
going out now. I'm going out. Yeah. I am going to Horse of the Air show, which is not at Olympic. Is at the Excel Centre now, which is our family Christmas outing. And even if you're not into horses, it's so Christmassy and lovely, and it's magical. So I'm doing that on Thursday. Really, really looking forward to that. So that's what I'm up to. But it's nice to know I've actually got a proper day off where I won't be doing any work. And like Vanessa, winding everything down, ready for Christmas. That's apparently rearing up somewhere. Lots of people coming in suggesting reading material as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So
now, if we end up with a lot of really good suggestions, we could perhaps extract them and, put them on our feeds and stuff. If we've got.
Well, it'll be on there anyway because of the comments.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because that's always the thing. I see a title and forget it.
So Pam said she's going to enjoy some downtime with her kids who are 23 and 18, and that time is precious.
Nice, it certainly is.
Joanne said, The Power of Geography, 10 maps that reveal the future of our world. The sequel to Prisoners of Geography, which is a paperback.
Oh my goodness.
That sounds really fascinating.
Reading list.
Future of the world. Wow.
Okay.
Joanna Bell says hello. She's got internet. Bye.
Oh, we know who you are now. We know you're there.
Yeah, Joanna had messaged me earlier saying your internet was down, but she really wanted to join.
Oh, thank you. Heather says Hub runs some community fridges.
Okay, good. Yeah. Amy's got a networking party. Yes. Is it a real life one, Amy, or is it a virtual one? Let's hope it's just everyone's got to stay safe, haven't they? Oh, and Robert said, hi, Robert, how are you? Having trouble connecting, ladies. Oh, we can see it's you. We know you're there. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're well. Hey, Gary. Oh, Gary sent me a message at the weekend. I've got to know Gary over the last few weeks or so. And Gary, please, can you write a book soon about your life? He's one of these people. Do you remember Mr. Ben? I don't know if you ever saw this in the States. It was an English thing where Mr. Ben used to get dressed up in different outfits. And every day he'd get dressed up in something and go on and have a different adventure. That is Gary's life. So Gary is utterly fascinating. The things he can tell you are just off the scale. So nice to know you there, Gary.
And I think it must be Joanna, because I think she is our LinkedIn user who, for some reason, LinkedIn wants to hide who you are. Says she's been hoping to volunteer to help the NHS with a booster jab, but how? And she's managed to sign up to St John's Ambulance, but not the local NHS. My mum had similar difficulties. My mum's a volunteer with the booster operation, and it was through a mutual friend who knew the person. So maybe the power of LinkedIn can help you find somebody local to you. If not, I don't know if the volunteer groups are somehow organised, but I'll ask here to see if, Joanna, if you send me a private message to say whereabouts you are in the country, I wonder if my network can find your network. But my mum's been volunteering with them for a few months now and really enjoys it. So it's
I'd like to do it. Yeah. I'd really like to do it after watching the Boris's. I was going to say something else. Boris's conversation that did. What's the word? My brain is still dead from the jab. Sorry.
Address to the nation.
Thank you. Oh God, watching Boris's address to the nation yesterday, it made me think. I've got a couple of weeks on. I would actually really like to do this. So I might get in touch with you as well, Vanessa, afterwards and see if
and Joanna, it might also be an option if you have a walk-in centre or a vac centre near you. They seem to always have the greeter out front to kind of ask, why are you here? When was your last job? Blah, blah, blah. Do you have an appointment? That person would probably know who to contact for that actual center. Otherwise, I've got a neighbor whose husband has been volunteering since the start. So I will also ask them if they have any ideas, if there's sort of a national registry or if it's by county or NHS trust or what. So we'll get you some information, Joanna. Thanks. Cool. All right. So I was saying, I guess Vanessa and Sarah, we've both talked about your weekend. We haven't talked about mine.
Sorry.
I was just wondering, wait a minute.
No, we've done your weekend. We've done that bit.
Or no, the upcoming week, I meant.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, clearly need another cup of tea here. Sarah, your wooziness is catching. I would say
through the airway.
I am looking forward to hopefully getting some more information on a proposal that I submitted for some future work, and following up on a couple other leads. So that's all good. I don't want to take it's always so tempting to say, oh, it's almost Christmas, I don't need to follow up on anything, I'll wait till the new year. But I'm really trying not to. I'm trying to, not aggressively chase things, but just not let things slide, even though it's kind of tempting sometimes. And I am going with a group of friends on Friday to see Back to the Future, the musical. So that should be good fun. It's got really good reviews so far. So yeah, that's my social thing, the big social thing for the week. Anybody else? Did anybody in the comments have any good stuff coming up this week?
Just go back to that one, because Joanne's written quite a long message, but she's excited to be joining a really special panel of speakers for Female Empowerment Convention. I like it already. We're all donating our time to raise much needed funds for the Haven, Wolverhampton, and I'm assuming the Haven then is, I don't know if it's in there what it is, but it's going to be money raising for a good cause, that's for sure. Everything she's written is in full detail in the comments, which will come up on our feeds. We can't get it all up there at the moment, I don't think, because our screens aren't big enough for some reason. Thank you for sharing that, and good luck with it. Have a lot of fun. Tickets are just £35 for the whole day. So have a look at the details if you're interested in that, because Joanna's shared more information about that on there. Good for you.
That sounds really interesting.
It's shared not on my feed, so I'm not sure whether it's on Melinda's or yours, Sarah, because it's what
it would be on mine for sure.
Okay. But we can really share the details after it.
And then
it's Joanne Kennedy, so that one's not. I don't know if that's going to be on my feed as well, but I can see it.
We'll find a way of getting it on there. And then Anna Maria is saying hello, Anna Maria. Nice to have you on board. So should we? I went to the
and Joanne went to the opening night of Back to the Future. So yeah,
very good, very good. Lots going on. So we're talking today then about resolutions and the way a lot of us try and do them just on the 1st of January and go, 1st of January is going to change everything, and we're going to have a little chat about that today, aren't we?
We are.
So many people have. I think we all are subject to the thought, especially when it comes to like exercise and fitness and healthier lifestyle things. It's so easy to say, oh, well, I'll just wait to start that till after the holidays, because I really like those mince pies, or I really like and it's just one of those things where, the weather's kind of cold, I just can't be bothered to go out and exercise. So it's really easy to put stuff off. But does that make it less likely that you'll actually do it in January? I kind of think so, and I'm pretty sure Sarah's got some evidence on that.
Yes, Sarah. Come on. So every year, I wake up on January the 1st and say, right, this is the year that I'm going to lose 5 kilos and get into those skinny jeans again. And it's ridiculous that every year I always think, I'll do dry January, and I always fail somewhere midweek or mid-month. Whereas
by midday, probably.
Yeah. Because this year I'm kind of 150 plus days into not drinking, and that was on on June the 11th or something. It wasn't a significant date, and it's worked this time. But yeah, go on, Sarah, tell us, how am I going to lose?
And I'm sorry if you can hear something rumbling outside. There's an engine going off outside here as well. So the reason that 80% plus New Year's resolutions don't work is because we are putting our desires to change on a date. And that is never, ever going to work. Well, I say never, 20% of them do. So sometimes they are working. But the ones that do work have got to be the ones that have not just got the date in mind, but they have got such an intention behind them, an emotional connection, a real desire, a real plan, a real goal, a real reason for doing it. And the mindset is right to make the action happen. So what we tend to do is we have the idea of the action, and we put a date on it, and then the date comes, but we haven't done the work underneath it. And that's the problem. So if you want to make a change in your life, the time to make the change is today, right now. Do the first thing. The other thing that goes wrong is that we say I want to lose 20 stone. I don't, but say I did. And I
You'd be invisible.
I would be minus something. But anyway, say I did. I'd look at, I want to lose this 20 stone, massive goal. And it seems so far away. And what we can often forget to do is break it down into tiny little chunks, or little bits of chocolate I've just seen by Johnny Walker. So just taking it back to the tiny bits and doing one thing immediately as soon as you've decided it's the thing you're going to do, that could be the first step to change everything. I did a post this time last year, or just after January, about the domino effect. And people always focus on that massive domino at the end that you need to push over. But what dominoes do are, you could start tiny, tiny, tiny ones, and the momentum builds up and eventually knocks over that massive domino. And if you can have that in your head, break down the big goal into these tiny little milestones, start knocking those over, and it starts to happen. But why wait till the 1st of January? It doesn't mean anything. So those are my thoughts on it. I've got lots more, but I'll be quiet for a moment. What's going on in the chat?
No, nothing much. Nothing to do with goals. Someone's told us a little bit more about Wolverhampton, about women and children who have been subjected to domestic abuse and homelessness. So yes, well done for supporting them.
Oh, great stuff.
But, yeah, back to goals.
Yeah, what about people out there that are listening in, or at the moment? Have you ever set New Year's resolutions, goals, and they've worked? If so, why? I bet you there was a whole soup of things underneath that, a whole mixture of things that made that happen. Or do you agree with us that they don't work, and actually you just take the bull by the horns and go for it anyway, and do what Vanessa did, which was decide 150 days ago, not wait until January the 1st, actually don't want to drink anymore. And then it's not such a big deal because you've decided there and then.
But you're right. Because I was trying to think, why has it worked this time? And I almost kind of fell into it by accident. It wasn't something that I'd planned, but it was that bigger picture. And it was the bigger picture that wasn't about me. So I'd been kind of thinking about it a bit, but it was when one of my friends, who was kind of 150 days into her journey, said that she was a much better parent for it.
Okay.
And I thought, I want a piece of that. I want to be a better parent. And that helped me kind of do it. But then also, I think, because you kind of take it one day at a time, I think, because I felt so much better, then it just strengthens the habit, doesn't it? It strengthens the habit of not drinking.
Completely.
Yeah, that's kind of how my fitness thing went, because I used to be quite into fitness and so forth about, like 10 years ago. But I kind of got away from it because a lot of work stress, and just had time just evaporated because I was working like ridiculous hours, doing a lot of travel and so forth. So I just it fell by the wayside. And I wanted to get back into it. And that was one of the things that, a lot of people say, lockdown was terrible for their fitness. But in my case, it actually had the opposite effect, because in our neighborhood WhatsApp group, I met a fitness trainer and Krav Maga expert who just lives down the road from me.
Sorry, a what?
Krav Maga martial arts expert.
Okay.
Yeah, she's quite the impressive badass. She used to live in Hong Kong because her husband had a job there, and she set up a business, and she was training the Hong Kong police force in Krav Maga and doing like that tier in the military and so forth, that tier of training. So yeah, quite accomplished and super fit.
Yeah.
And she started doing backyard fitness classes. And so I started going to those, and I was initially so disappointed, because having been fairly strong and fairly fit, to realize how much of that had gone was quite a shocker. And it got to the point where I realized that I could only do maybe 5 straight leg press ups. And I used to be able to knock them out without a problem. And that was just really, I almost gave up, You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh, what's the point? But I kept going, and I thought, well, let's see if I can get to 10. And then it's like, well, let's see if I can get to 20. And, you know, it took some time, but I started making some quite quick gains. And then that had the benefit, like Vanessa said, where you start to feel better about yourself. And then it's no longer work, it's kind of a challenge. Plus meeting up with some ladies who've now become good friends, you know, three times a week or so, to do different sort of workouts and yoga.
Yeah, you start to see the results, don't you? And that's actually what drives you on. And so, you know, Vanessa, you were saying, I don't know why this one worked necessarily, but you start to see the benefit. First of all, you've attached it to something that's really important to you. I just want to come to the messages we're getting, because there's some in here, but then I just want to share some gold with you. I can't help it. Coach Head's gone on about how to make things stick. Amy says, totally agree. New Year's never worked for me. No, me neither. It doesn't mean anything to me. Joanna, how do you deal with your motivational plan when you are taken off course by whatever? Great question. So I'm going to backtrack a bit and answer that. The first thing that needs to happen is you need to know why you're doing it. So we all know about Simon Sinek and the power of why. This is in business and in our own personal lives as well. If we don't know why we're doing something, it's very, very difficult to remain motivated to achieve it, because you can't go back to that big, shiny, my why. This is what excites me. Out of that, then, there's also something that I do, which is I use something called the hedgehog concept, which is how I make all of my decisions. So I know what my why is, I know what my vision is, I know what my mission is. And then I look at all the things that I love to do, that I'm good at or great at, and what are going to make me money. I'm talking about it from a business point of view now. So that's what drives me. And then I make all the decisions through that filter. So if it hits my why, and it goes through the filter, we're going in the right direction. The next thing I do is make smarty goals. So these aren't just SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, or attainable, realistic, relevant, whichever you want to call it, or time bound, but they've got I&E on the end, which is inspirational and emotional. And the reason those two need to go on, especially when it's a personal goal, and work goals too, really, is that if there's no emotional attachment to it, to your bigger why, your bigger purpose, it's so easy to get sidetracked by something else, which Joanne's question is, what happens if you get demotivated or derailed? So if you do all of those things, if you've thought about why you're doing it, you're putting it through a proper filter, and you've chosen it's the right thing to do, and you've done goal setting with an I and the E on the end, smarty goals, it's so much more likely that you're going to achieve it. Oh, and maybe if you are one that gets easily sidetracked, you have an accountability partner. You know,
that's really good. Yeah, I was obviously, because we were talking about this, I had to do a little bit of research, and one thing that I read, which is your eye for inspiration, is that your goals should motivate you and inspire you and not beat you up. So if you want to lose weight, for example, don't put a picture of yourself looking horrific on the fridge so that you're beating yourself up, but put a picture of yourself where you looked really great, where you know, so it's positive, you put a smile on your face rather than feel downtrodden about it. But I think having the why, but also it helps with that visualization as well. If you can actually see it, you can believe it. So that's the whole thing about it being attainable. You have to know that you can do it. If you start from, oh, I'm not sure I can do this, you're never going to get there, are you? So I think
sorry.
I was going to say this comes to what's behind me, which is it's a classic coaching triangle, which is the results that we get are a mixture of the actions that we take and the mindset that we have. And if the mindset isn't right, the actions never are. What we tend to do is, well, I'm going to make a goal, I'll just make it action focused, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And we don't spend time thinking about what we really feel about it. Now, what's underneath all of this is our beliefs, our self-limiting beliefs, our real desires, what we really want to prioritize. And if you don't dig into that a little bit and get your smarty goals out, aligned with your real why, this rarely works to make the results change. But that thing you were saying about having a positive picture is really important, because our brains are hardwired to keep us away from badness, sadness, things that make us unhappy. So we have to actively fill our brain with goodness to overcome that negative bias of I can't, I won't, I shouldn't.
And rewards too, because Sarah,
Yeah.
you told me before, especially if it's a good example, I'll use my fitness goals thing, is that, if I just said to go from not being able to do, say, 5 straight leg press-ups, I want to do 100, that would seem impossible.
Yeah.
And it would be very demotivating if I wasn't there immediately. So it worked better for me to break that down into smaller goals and then celebrate those smaller achievements along the way. Not with a whole cake, obviously, but
just half the cake.
But with something, whether it's like, an experience or a walk or, meeting up with a friend outside or something like that. So I did get up to 100 and I've exceeded that now, but I couldn't have done that. I think my highest was like 130 in one training session. But I couldn't have done that if I had just said, well, I'm going to do 100 in the next 3 months or something like that. It would have just not been a positive goal.
Exactly.
So yeah, that suggestion from Sarah really did make a difference to help sort of break down the bigger goal into smaller attainable chunks and celebrate those victories along the way.
Celebrating them is absolutely key. We've got loads of stuff that's come through. Oh, well done. Yeah.
This is, I think, breaking your goals down into smaller chunks. So Sarah here is talking about 100 miles in 30 days, not 100 miles in one day, like your push-ups. But,
but that's a lot, though. That's a good challenge.
It is, yeah. So she did about 5 miles, a bit further down, about 5 miles a day, whatever the weather. One thing that I also read about is habit stacking. And so I read this is about synaptic pruning. And
I'm already
Tell us more.
And this is the idea that things that we do all the time, we've built up our brain muscles to do them, and we do it without thinking about it. Yeah. Whereas things you've never done, you haven't built that brain memory. The neurons don't exist. So this is about, rather than trying to do something completely new, attach your new goal or little bits of it to stuff that you do every day. So, for example, because you brush your teeth every day, why don't you just do 10 squats whilst you're brushing your teeth? And it's things like that. So, like, that you go to bed every night. Therefore, put your book on the pillow.
Give yourself a chance.
And it reminds you. So it's about adding your new little habits to your existing habits that you don't even think about, to build in those new habits, and then your brain will accept them more easily.
That's a good note.
Can I add to that?
You can.
You said neurons and everything, I was all over.
Synaptic pruning.
Synaptic pruning. So just so you know that it takes at least 21 days to change a habit. So if you don't try whatever it is you're going to try on the 1st of January, whatever date you're picking, doesn't matter when you start today. If you don't do it for at least a minimum of 21 consecutive days, your brain struggles. And I'll tell you why, is that Vanessa's absolutely right. Your brain is already hardwired with all the things that we currently do. And if you see yourself, it's like a motorway. If you're driving down the motorway and you've always done something the same way and gone in the same direction, you get to the end of the motorway and there is a gap. It's like a chasm to jump. Or you could just go back the way you normally go. You can see why your brain suddenly struggles and goes, oh, no, thank you, I'll go backwards. Is because the effort it takes to jump over that gap and create the new neurological pathways to make it a habit it takes time, it takes energy, and your brain wants to conserve itself more than energy. So the more times you go over it, the more times you're making this behavior a pattern that is recognized, and those stronger pathways are built. So although we become more hardwired and our brain is less neuroplastic as we get older, we just need to know that there is a chasm, quite a big jump to make. But if we keep doing it and keep going back over it, it will become hardwired like everything else. This is very neurological today.
No, it's fabulous, isn't it? So just to kind of catch up on the comments, Sarah did these 30 days, 100 miles, and she's carried on throughout the year.
Done, Sarah.
That's the whole 21 days. She did it for 30 days, and now her brains are hardwired to do it.
Yeah, good.
Proof in our feed. I think it might be Joanna. She said she agrees. That's what she's learning from Karen McKay, mum, wife looking to return to her career.
Okay, repetition is key and not giving up. I think that might be what is it.
Okay. And LinkedIn user, that is to celebrate short chunks of time to do a small task, but do it and don't leave it to a new day, which is what the natural mindset says.
Yes, absolutely. That is just your little chimp. I don't know if you read the chimp paradox. It's just your chimp going, don't do it, don't do it. Just tell the chimp to do one and get on with it. It's interesting, Sarah. Thank you for the coaching. My pleasure. It's what I do. I can't help it. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Did we see something else? I think we've got one here from, I don't know if you can see this one from Joanne as well. So loving it. I don't practice martial arts, but I'm chair of Taekwondo organization in England. I'm aligned with the tenets of Taekwondo. Well, I'm never getting on the wrong side of you. That's for sure. Anything you say, I believe in. Yes, you're right. Good for you.
And just as a quick time check, we've got about 4 minutes left in our show today. I know it's flown by. So if anybody has any more, any questions or any top tips that they'd like to drop in the comments, now would be a great time to do it. And how about you ladies? Anything more to add on the current topic, or do you have any gratitudes or things that you'd like to say in our next closing few minutes?
Me first. Sorry.
Sorry.
I was doing.
For once, I didn't want to step over somebody. What's wrong with me? I must be getting older. No, nothing really, other than if you are thinking of making a change, do it now. I just can't keep saying that enough at the moment. You're going to be inundated with LinkedIn posts and people saying, oh, have you made a New Year's resolution and it hasn't worked? This is why. I'm telling you now, stop waiting till the 1st of January. Do it now. Get the help, support, direction, read a book. I don't know, do something and achieve what you know you can achieve right here, right now, today. Other than that, what am I grateful for? The fact that I haven't had any severe downsides other than slight brain fog. brain fog from the jab, the booster. Go get your boosters. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that, am I? Sorry. Am I allowed to?
Of course you are.
Yeah. Okay, good.
We're allowed opinions.
Well, I have an opinion. Get
Good.
jab. Anyway, and other than that, hand over to you, Vanessa.
Who have I got to be thankful for? I can't think of anything at the minute, but I was reminded because of the whole booster thing. So my mother, I'm going to say she's awesome because she's since my dad passed away, and then kind of COVID stopped everything and the world closed down. But my mum, as things have opened up, has become a volunteer, and she volunteers at the jab clinics. She volunteers at Rivington. She volunteers now for Bolton Hospice. So I'm just going to say she's awesome. She's a super.
She is awesome.
Especially awesome. With the whole kind of booster thing as well.
What's her name?
Eileen.
You rock, Eileen.
She does. She absolutely does.
Awesome. That's really good. That she's been able to get involved with all those initiatives. Yeah, all very positive things. I was just going to say I am thankful for everybody who's joined in today and participated. We are so happy to have you here. And of course, replay is always available, but you can't participate like you can when it's live. So that does make a huge difference to us. And we would really appreciate it if anybody is not following all three of us on your favorite socials, especially LinkedIn. We're all three very active. So please follow us on LinkedIn if you are not already. And we will be back next week, our final week before the Christmas break. So at our usual time of 12:30, and you can pick up the link to the show on any of our feeds before it starts. So why not just set up a regular calendar entry for next year? Or before next year, rather, and have it pop up in your Monday reminders so you don't miss an episode.
Yeah, next week we're going to be talking about celebrating 2021. So we're going to say, what went well for us? What did we do well? What did we achieve? I mean, maybe you set goals last year for 2021. So did you achieve them, or did you not? Did you have to pivot? Did I say that word? But yeah, let's celebrate 2021. Let's end this year on a high.
Yeah, just because something's different doesn't mean it was all bad. And the year was different, but there were really good points that came out of the year for most people. So not absolutely everything, but let's celebrate what has come around. And that is us on our closing moment. So thanks again. It's been lovely having you with us, and have a great week.
Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.